Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm.
All right, today we have another great show. We're going to be talking about scaling and goal setting as an entrepreneur. So this is another topic that not a lot of people are talking about, but I think I've got a great guest to cover this. So this is a first-time guest. Also, I've known him for years, but great guy. He began selling, I think, a little bit after me, about 2015, with Amazon Arbitrage. And then he was trying to scale his business model. He pivoted into wholesale, into private label selling, which he's done extremely well. In 2016, he launched his first private label product. 5 years later, he is exclusively private label seller with multiple brands and 8-figure revenue annually. Now, something that a lot of people don't realize about my guest is he was also featured on Storage Wars. Yes, Brandon Young was featured on Storage Wars. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But before we get to it, just a quick word from our sponsor. Thank you, Sellerize, for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Sellerize is your comprehensive solution for your everyday business needs. Everything you need to grow and scale your Amazon business is just one click away. For more information, contact Dima and his team over at Sellerize.com. And remember, Sellerize is with one R. All right. Where is my beardo son? Not weirdo.
That's me. Hello.
Well, maybe a little
you?
weirdo. Little
weird.
weirdo.
Yeah. Quirky.
Yeah. Quirky. That's a good word. So how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am doing fine. Thank you for asking.
All right. So we have a ton of Beard Nation members joining in on this one.
Good.
We got Jessica Rabbit, Jeff, Rad. Welcome. Simon, Manny. Let me see. Cool Hand 99. Great to see you again. Super excited for this episode. Super excited for Brandon to be on. And yeah, it's going to be a great episode. If you're new to the show, we get started by smashing those like buttons, giving us a thumbs up. And subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Also, I want to give a shout out to one Beard Nation member in particular, Rad. I got this in the mail.
Yes.
So thank you very much,
thank
Rad.
you, Rad.
So if you're interested, check out Solar Plus More. They do a ton of great stuff with solar motion lights. We have flashlights. This is for the patio, so check it out. Thank you, Rad. That was a great little surprise. We can jump into the episode as well.
Well, I think before we get started, just a small thing, right? Tim Jordan let this out of the bag. He told me to hold off on everything for 2 days yesterday. And I see that he announced our Mexico trip. So anyways, Kelsey, you can post that link. I don't think pricing or anything's up yet, but anyways, Tim Jordan and I are doing a Mexico sourcing trip. We've got a bunch of people, a bunch of manufacturers and distributors coming into the World Trade Center in Mexico City. And we've got some really great sponsors as well. Alibaba is sponsoring the event. Helium 10 is sponsoring the event. And then after the event, we're going over to Cancun, and we've got just a large mastermind going on for a few days. So anyways, that was supposed to be, I thought, a secret for a little while. We've kept it under our hat for a little while. And I noticed on Tim's Facebook yesterday, he announced it. So, all right, very good. So there you go.
All right. So yeah, I'll be dropping the link in the comment sections. If you guys are interested, check it out. But
All right. So if you have any questions, throw them over in the comment section. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee or tea or whatever suits your fancy, and enjoy the episode. Welcome, sir.
Good to see you, Norm. How you doing?
Good. Let's talk about Storage Wars.
Yeah, I was just experimenting with some different business models, and I had seen that, and it was fun. And so we went and bought a bunch of storage units, and it turns out they were trying to do an offshoot of Storage Wars Miami, which the cast was terrible. And I
I
have to,
remember that. I remember the Storage War Miami
yeah, it
version.
was
Yeah.
terrible. We went to a couple shooting, like a couple episodes, and everyone overbid everything because they wanted to be on the show. So it wasn't worth being there. And then the cast was just everything was so fake and terrible. But yeah, I got featured on it a couple times because of that, and it's terrible business. Storage units are such a grind. You have to clean out the unit, and there's a lot of trash in there. A lot of people don't realize the worst are mattresses. You get mattresses with pee on them, and just like you have to move them, and they're hard to move. You have to rent trucks and help and labor. So by the time we were done, I had a guy working for me that I was paying like $12 an hour cash. And he ended up making more money than me after like 4 or 5 units because I was paying him hourly than all the work we actually put into sorting, figuring out what to sell online and then what to sell at a flea market. And it was it's such a terrible business, but it was an experience.
Yeah, I bet. Now, one of the things I do want to let everybody know, and I really appreciate this, is you're under the weather right now. And we didn't even think that you'd be able to come on as of last night. So again, I want to thank you for taking the time and kind of going through all this.
No, I appreciate it, man. I had already postponed the show before, but yeah, it turns out I have COVID. We've been really careful, but you know, you have a 10-year-old that goes to school, and everyone in Miami has COVID right now. So
yeah.
It was pretty much what I'm hearing is pretty much inevitable. You just can't avoid it. It's so easy to catch.
Well, take care of yourself and get better. And again, I appreciate taking your time today.
Thanks, man.
All right,
Nothing
sir.
worries.
All right, sir. So let's get into this. Now, like you were saying, you got really into the arbitrage side 2015. Then you started doing private label selling, and now you're kind of hooked into wholesale and private label selling. You're very successful at it. I think you are one of the best experts to talk about scaling a business and how to scale and mindset. So there's a lot of things that go through when you first start a business. There's a lot of hurdles that happen daily, weekly that you have to overcome. So I think this is a great topic for us to talk about. And I guess the first thing I want to talk about is starting out as an online entrepreneur. Where do you even start with goal setting?
Yeah, what's interesting is we had to hire a CEO coach ourselves last year. We've spent 6 figures in coaching to help us scale our own business, and it's been really a big breakthrough for us to learn how to set proper goals. And we read every single management book we could get our hands on, so it was really interesting. And what we started to notice is that there's a pattern. All of the management books basically are the same exact system, but with different names. So everything is essentially working backwards. And one of the books that we're reading and going through right now is called Working Backwards. And it's about the Amazon story and about their processes and how they've iterated and been able to launch so many successful offshoots of their business. And it for someone just starting out, I think it's important to understand the fundamentals, how the processes work, how to look at the data, how to make solid decisions based on data, increase your success rate of launching a product, learn all of those processes. But then when you want to scale that business, you really have to set an objective and then work backwards from there as to what it's going to take to achieve that. What are the so they call them output measures or lagging metrics. So sales, for example, if you want to set sales as your lagging metric or your goal, by the time you achieve sales, it's too late to do anything about it. So it's a lagging metric or an output metric. And so what are you going to do on a daily basis? What are the leading activities that you can do on a daily basis that will get you closer to that goal incrementally over time, right? So if I set that goal for, 4 quarters out or 12 months out, I know that there are ways to incrementally measure my progress towards that goal. but what am I doing on a daily basis to get there? So for Amazon sellers, there's a couple main levers that people pull. Sales are made up of only two things: existing sales from existing products and new products, right? So if you know how much you're expecting to make from existing products and you set a goal here, the delta is what you need to cover with new products. Okay, so what are your leading activities to develop new products? Product research, ordering samples, launching new products. And eventually, as you work down what all those processes entail, what resources you need, what capital you need, what team you need to do all of that, you will be able to determine pretty accurately whether you're going to achieve your goal. Pretty early on, you're going to see if you're on target or you're low or you're high. And you need to adjust from there. Do you need more resources? Do you not have the capability to achieve it? So someone just starting out that has 2 or 3 SKUs and says, I want to do 10 million next year, it's probably not realistic, but it's possible. You would need to fill that organization chart with other seats besides yourself, and you would need to have a lot of resources to do it, but it's possible.
One of the things that you mentioned was you have a coach. And so I don't care if you're just starting out and, you might join an organization like EO, which is a fabulous organization, and it's everywhere in the US. And if you have, I think it's 1 million in the US, I think 1.5 up in Canada, you can join this. And it's the amount of information that you can get at your fingertips is fantastic. But if you don't have access to that, even a mentor, get somebody that can drop some information so you can start to grow. And what I like about what you said is you've got this CEO at your level, and it's important that you get a coach at your level. If you're, and I know the Dan Sullivan with Strategic Coach, he broke it down into, okay, if you're making $100,000 a year, this is your peer group. 250,000 is your peer group. 500,000 is your peer group. Don't mess up. Don't lie. Don't go say, if you're making 50,000, don't try to get into a 250,000 or the $1 million, because you're out of your league. There's completely different goals. There's completely different tasks that you have to do to achieve your goals in those settings. So I really like the idea. And I know that you also like the idea of sharing information, but finding a mentor that can help you right at the starting of growing your business. If you want to grow, you need that mentor. What do you think?
100%. It requires a humbleness to understand that you don't know everything, and that
right.
and it skips the learning curve. It's smart, right? Like, yeah, we figured out Amazon private label in large part on our own with trial and error. We had a lot of success. We had a lot of failure. And every time we learned what worked and what didn't work. We analyzed data in different ways every single time. And it's all about what we teach. But even at our level, we understood that we were not capable of building the right team and growing the organization to become a real company. Right. So what we also talk about is that in Amazon, a solopreneur, you yourself, maybe a VA, can drive this business to $3 million in sales. It's very possible. I've seen it hundreds of times. Right.
Right.
That's the inflection point at that point as to what you're going to do next. And a lot of people at that point either sell or scale. And those are your two options. Right.
Yep.
And if you linger, you're going to die. So stagnation is death. So at 1 to 3 million, you need to make that decision. Am I going to go to 6 million, or am I going to sell the business and start all over? And to get to 6 million, you can start to hire specialists, right? You can outsource something to an agency, maybe, if that's the way you want to go. You can hire a specialist in a specific seat that basically is still task oriented. They're only going to do what you tell them to do. Right now, to get from 10 million to 50 million, though, you can't have an organization full of specialists. You need managers. You need A players. You need VP level talent, and they need to be able to think independently and be aligned with your goals and objectives, and understand and communicate with the other departments that require it. Am I able to share?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I have an org chart that I've been working on that I'm sharing, because we just had this. Let me see if I can share.
So just one thing, we're doing a live stream, but most of the people listen to this on a podcast, so you'll probably have to
So I'll try
describe a little
best I can. Yeah. Okay.
So don't do charades.
Okay. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let me stop sharing. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Okay. Here's the thing. When you first start out the business, you really only have the top layer here. So what we're looking at is an Amazon private label chart. You have the CEO at the top, and underneath you have brand manager. You have head of product. You have head of creative. You have supply chain management. You have your marketing director, and you have your CFO. And these are the main departments that you're going to have in an Amazon private label business or Amazon brand business, e-commerce business. And a lot of people don't realize, because they don't take the time to separate the tasks that they're doing into these different processes and into these different seats. And what's funny is, like, when you're a solopreneur, it's literally you write the name of who's in the seat, and it's you, right? And then maybe you'll find a VA that's helping you with, customer service, which is on here. But, at the end of the day, you need to learn the fundamentals of every single one of these seats at a very high level. So if you're talking about head of product and product development, how does that start? Well, the leading activity for product development is keyword research. It's product research. It's understanding the competition and the demand of the market. How are our competitors getting their sales, and how good of a job is our competitors doing at meeting that demand? Are they ranked well, right? And so if you can understand the fundamentals of product research, now you need to learn the fundamentals of sourcing and logistics. Now you need to learn the next step, which is content, and getting someone really, really good at content, and understanding the fundamentals of what triggers conversion rates, and understanding marketing at a high level, and understanding that this business is two things. There's only two things that matter with almost every business, and it's traffic and conversions. So then you break down traffic and conversions, and who's in charge of traffic, who's in charge of conversions. And you have all these different hats you're wearing as you're growing. But eventually you're going to need to start filling out this chart in order to grow. This is what a $25 million Amazon private label business will look like eventually, where you have a different name in each of these seats, and you have A players and managers at the head of each of these seats. So, and if you're not watching or you can't see, underneath head of creative, you don't even think about it, but you have copywriting, you have photography, you have videography, you have graphic design, you have product design. You have to do unique packaging. You have to do unique products. For supply chain, you have inventory planning, you have logistics, and you have orders, an orders coordinator, someone coordinating and making sure you never run out of stock. So you have different KPIs for each of these seats as well. So your supply chain team is in charge of your out of stock rate, your days of inventory, your shipping costs. And then, you have your marketing director, who is in charge of paid ads off Amazon, on Amazon. And then you could start to branch out to other marketplaces. You can have B2B and wholesale, retail. So this is this organization chart that we're talking about starts with you wearing all of those hats. And you have to understand what are the leading activities for each of those seats that are going to drive you towards those objectives at the end of the year. And it might just be you. It might be you and one other, you and two others, you and assistant. But once you want to get to 8 figures and you want to scale towards 9 figures, you're now talking about a real company.
Right.
That's a real organization that is going to require you to understand how to have regular meetings with real objectives that are very efficient, and you're working backwards from that objective with really measurable leading activities.
Right. And one of the things that we do with our the way that you put out your org chart there, we'll put, instead of me, we'll put the just the title of whoever has to do it. And then what we'll do is we'll start matching up 4 different dollar ranges, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. and we just kind of start to draw lines to it and who's going to be doing those tasks, right? And the ones that are the $10 that we can get going out really quickly, those are the ones we're working on to get off of our plate. And it kind of just goes up. So you're working at the $10,000 an hour. And I mean, that sounds crazy, $10,000 an hour, but you're working on your business and you're growing it and you're strategizing and you're making the thing grow. Now, I think you might know my buddy Colin Campbell. He's out in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm pretty sure you probably running around in the same circles. But he's got he just sold his one company to GoDaddy, very successful.
That's awesome.
He's had like probably 5-10 really, really successful exits. And he's come out with something, just basically his chart is start, scale, exit, repeat. And so if you can visualize that going down with all these tasks that you have to do, and then he has the columns, people, money, storage, and what's the last one? Systems. And he just kind of fills in all those blanks, and he just uses that, and it's a formula for success. Like if you fill in all the article and you take that org chart that you have, and at least you've got it visualized in your mind. And one of the things that, and I know Shane really hates me for this, and Afalabi hates me for this, but every year or every quarter, it's okay, let's update the business plan. Okay, what's the strategy going into the next quarter? But you have to have that roadmap, right? And I think that's what you're bringing to the table.
No, for sure. So someone was asking, like, for a solopreneur, what do you do? Well, I recommend walking each process as you're going through it for that first launch, but become an expert at everything. And that's why we call it seller systems, because it has to be based in systems, this way that you were talking about, Colin was talking about. If you don't have systems, you don't have anything. And then it's a matter of, now how do you scale these systems? I have another chart I'll show you really quickly. And for those listening, I'm sorry that you're not able. You should go to YouTube and watch this. and hit the smash
those likes, subscribe. Yeah, ring the bell. I've learned all these terms.
You have to learn all these terms. These kids these days, these whippersnappers.
Yeah, Kelsey.
So this is about the leading activities, and it's just an example of like losing weight. But I want to show you specifically. Yeah, that's a different org chart. There it is. Okay. So now you're talking about how do you determine what levers to pull or what to focus on each quarter? And this is what you were just talking about, Norm.
Right.
You were saying that, okay, every single quarter you need to kind of revisit what is your goal or activity, like what are you trying to achieve for the quarter? What is your we call it a hot, some people call it a rock, some people call it, there's EOS, there's 40X, there's, like I said, all these different management systems, they call it something different.
Yep.
But it's all the same thing. You're setting up an audacious or an objective. Now, the key is that in an organization, you can only achieve one or two of these every quarter. So you'll see here, it says Q3, and then there should be different, like 4 for Q3 is too many. So, but what we're looking at is the taxonomy of value of a business, of an e-commerce business, specifically Amazon, right? Amazon private label. So you have your company valuation at the top, and what drives company valuation. That's obviously what the goal is to build up the value of the company as much as possible. Well, it's made up of sales, it's made up of profit, and it's made up of capabilities. So what you need to do is understand, okay, what are the things I'm going to be doing each quarter that I can incrementally improve? And you'll learn, you have to be honest. You go back to that org chart and you have to say, okay, I'm going to give myself a grade in every one of those seats that I put myself in. And the ones that you're the worst at, you should probably replace yourself first, right? Now, let's say that you're not good at content. So your click-through rate, your traffic is low, and you're having trouble with some keyword ranks and conversion rates. Your marketing isn't as good. Your launches aren't doing as good. Well, that's a content issue, because you have to understand again, those two main factors, traffic and conversions. Traffic, you have to understand what levers or what you can do to fix traffic. So let's see, click-through rate. you can change your main image. You can change your price, and those are the main factors. But I'll try to be more conceptual here, where I explain it. Let's say we're looking at again all the different levers, and each of those were formulas. So we understand that our click-through rate's a little low. We'd like to increase that. That's the goal for the quarter, is to increase the traffic to all of our listings. So to increase click-through rates, essentially. Well, the two main levers there are content and price. Okay. Now we also have additional outside marketing we can do. So now you need to break that down. What are the leading activities? Are we going to drive outside traffic? Are we going to improve our content and test 5 new images? So the goal is, okay, test 5 new main images for each product. That's our activity for the quarter. That's all we can focus on. Now you get moving, and then that's your leading activity. Test a new image, check your click-through rate. Test a new image, check your click-through rate. Try alternate pricing. Add a coupon, raise your price, add a coupon, lower your price, add a coupon, right? So you have those levers to control. But if your focus is traffic for this quarter, for all of your products, now you understand what drives traffic, and then you can figure out what are the leading activities you're going to do for the quarter. And that's true for every single one of those that chart, every single piece of that taxonomy of value. It's all a formula, and then you have to figure out, okay, if something's not as good as I want it to be, then what are the things I can do? What are the leading activities I can do to improve it this quarter? And then that can be what you're focusing on for the quarter with your products. And again, like the overhead, the low-hanging fruit is always adding new products, but you should always be focusing on also optimizing existing products and getting better at different systems, scaling and growing the team so that you can meet those capabilities. Don't hire just to hire, but know why you're hiring. What are their activities? What are they going to be doing? And then again, that's all about working backwards and finding out what are those leading activities I need to do to meet those objectives that we set.
So I just noticed a quick comment about the charts. Would you be able to supply the visuals so we could post them in the show notes so people who can't see them can get a glance at them in the podcast?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, fantastic. Now, before we get to anything further, there's a couple things. First of all, Brandon's come to us with an incredible multi-giveaway today. So, Brandon, why don't we just talk about that for a quick second? So I asked you, hey, can you give away something? And what did you come back with?
Yeah, so I have a masterclass on PPC. I have an older one that we did a year and a half ago. Things have changed dramatically in Amazon with regards to ad placements, different places that you can advertise. The rules are a little different. The algorithm's a little different. So we're updating that masterclass. It's going to be 4 or 5 parts across 5 or 6 hours, and I'm going to give 5 seats into that masterclass to your listeners.
That's fantastic. So, and I know the information and the content that you deliver is always high-end premium content. So if you're looking for a great PPC course, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll get a second entry. Okay. This is one of the best giveaways that we've had. And look, 5 seats. That's fantastic, Brandon. Again, I want to thank you on that. Now, one last thing, Kelsey, put your finger on the button. We're going to sponsor. I wanted to give a quick shout out and say thank you to Global Wired Advisors for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Global Wired Advisors is a leading digital investment bank focused on optimizing the business sales process. For more information, please call Chris Schifferling and his team over at globalwiredadvisors.com. All right. Now, if I'm thinking about the action steps, there's a lot there, right? There's so much, and you don't want it to be overwhelming. What are maybe 2 or 3 action steps that people can get going to just get started with this?
So what do they have SKUs, or are they just?
Yeah, let's just say that they've got their first ASIN up there, or maybe 2, and they've just never done it before. Now, we have discussed a lot of this kind of in detail, but just quick action steps. Okay, if I need a checklist, what do I have to do? 1, 2, 3.
So there's, okay. This is like a 5-hour masterclass in itself.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. First of all, you have to make sure that you did the proper keyword research to index and write your listing for maximum ranking. That's the first step. So creating what we call a master keyword list, understanding all of the keywords that drive sales potentially for a product. What are all of the keywords that different sellers are using? Because they're all not using all of them. We've proven that many, many times over and over. And once you look at that chart and you put your listing in that chart also, your product, you're going to see what holes you have in your listing from a keyword perspective. Are you missing different routes? A lot of times there's different ways people call things, right? Like, so for example, a toiletry bag can be a DOP kit. It can be a bathroom bag. It can be a travel bag. Well, if you only included, toiletry bag in your listing, you'd be missing out on about half the market because you missed out on DOP kit and bathroom bag and men's travel bag and all those things, right? Toiletries bag is another, you have so many different keywords that drive sales for products, and you need to be able to identify all of those and know which ones to prioritize. So start with good keyword research, good indexing, and good writing, right? And once you've done that and you feel like you've done a good job with indexing and writing your listing, then it comes down to then traffic and conversions on those keywords. So you've given Amazon all the opportunity to rank you, but now you need to do better than your competition, and everything's relative for every market. So you need a better click-through rate, a better conversion rate. You need to drive more revenue, right? So relevancy, we fixed by writing our listing better, doing the keyword research and writing it better. That's a big part of ranking. Once we write our listing properly, now we need to focus on click-through rate, conversion rate, and revenue. Click-through rate, again, we just talked about, which is price and content. Work on main images. Even if you think your image is better than your competition, maybe it's too different. Maybe it's not as good as you think. Use services like Helium 10 and PickFu, and they have different services where you can test many different images against the competition. You can take your main image and the 4 other best sellers and say, which one do you like the best and why? They're going to come back and tell you. They're only going to click on you 5% of the time. Well, you need to do better than that, right? You need to be the majority. So content, I think, is the way you win and moving forward if you have a solid keyword research foundation. But that's also how we do product research. So, I mean, if I'm looking at a potential product, I can understand what the risk is of the product, what the opportunity of the product is. Let me see something. I can share real quick again.
Sure.
I know it's visual, but let me do make this a little bit smaller, zoom out. It's gonna be hard for people to see, but that's okay. All right.
While we're waiting for this, Kelsey will be doing interpretive dance.
This is what we call a master keyword list, and this is the example I have here is a diaper caddy, right? So on the diaper caddy, we're seeing that there are 234 keywords that have 355,000 search volume combined with a 3 relevancy and a 350 search volume. And the way that works is that we assigned a relevancy score based on the number of these top sellers. We took the 15 best sellers and we gave a relevancy score based on how many of them are ranked well for a keyword. Logically speaking, the more of your exact competitors that are on the first page for a keyword, the more relevant it is, right? So now we can sort by relevancy, we can sort by search volume, but this gives us an idea how big is the market. The market is 234 major keywords that have at least a 3 relevancy, 355,000 search volume. But how good is our competition? Well, this guy is on 94% of that search volume. He's 332,000. So let's say that you're deciding to do this product. Well, you've got a lot of oranges, a lot of red. You got the guys that are really good at Amazon. You got 4 good, 2 very good. This is a saturated market. They're all selling kind of the same product. You can't differentiate too much. And price point is, pretty standard. Lots of reviews. This is a product I wouldn't do. So I can evaluate risk. I can evaluate competition by understanding how to pull keywords and do keyword research. But let's say we did this product, like without, fault of our own, we didn't do the proper research up front. We decided to do this product and we are mom code. Well, what we can do is we can go down this list. We inserted ourselves here. We see immediately our main image is much smaller than everybody else. So we can optimize content. If we do a deep dive on the content side, we can see how good the images are for our competition. And then if we go to ours, we'll see it's not as good, right? If we look at a keyword that we're not indexed for, 307 means not even indexed. Probably not in our listing. What is it? It's baby basket. That probably means I didn't even write the word basket into my listing. What is this one? Baby storage organizer. I'm missing something there. Am I missing storage? Am I missing organizer? Am I missing storage and organizer close enough together in my listing as a phrase to get credit for it? Amazon doesn't even think baby storage organizer is relevant for my listing. Meanwhile, I have competitors. I have this competitor who's number one for it, driving sales for it, and I'm not, right? So by looking at the keywords and going in depth with the keywords and understanding how to pull this data, you're going to be able to identify holes in the market. You're going to be able to identify how to write your listing better, how to do a better job than them, and whether you can do a better job. Like if it's a saturated market and it's really mature and there's not a lot of keywords, don't do that product. Move on to the next one. So the foundation of product research and optimization comes from keywords.
Very good. Sorry, I clicked the mute button. I'm good because we could talk another podcast or two on this topic, like you said. But I'm kind of curious. So you're successful. People know you as being a successful seller. I want to know some of the mistakes that you made. I call it fail to succeed, right? What did you do to succeed?
I think our biggest failures were keyword based because we didn't do the proper research. We did a set of expensive headphones at one point. They were active noise canceling headphones when it wasn't really that popular or common to see them. Now, what I didn't realize was how good and saturated the market, like how good the competitors were and what keywords I would need to rely on. And I didn't understand the ranking algorithm. I didn't understand that revenue is a large driver of that. I didn't understand click-through rate and conversion rates were a large driver of that. Just naturally, someone's more likely to click on a $9.99 headphone than they are on an $89.99 headphone, right? They're much more likely to convert once someone clicks on them too. So I'm not going to be able to rank for the keyword headphones, right? Or Bluetooth headphones when it's saturated with a market that has Bose and then a bunch of $10.99 headphones or $15.99 headphones, right? With my $89.99 never heard of you brand, right? So even on the active noise canceling headphones keyword, I could get to like number 8 or number 10, but that wasn't good enough, right? Like I had thought I could do a lot better because it's a headphone niche. So I ordered a lot of those and it was like a $40,000 lesson.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's always a learning curve, isn't it? Even when you launch 100 products, you're still going to pay somewhere along the line. You're going to pay your Amazon tax because they're always coming up with something different or you're learning something different.
Yeah, that was a big one for us. We had another one where, again, keyword driven lesson. And after this lesson, the headphones and this other lesson, we did a set of bricks that light up, right? So it was like lighted bricks that you could set into sets, and it's similar to one that's on the market. But we had found like the lighting mechanism was different, so we weren't infringing on any patents or anything. But the key was that no one's searching for lighted bricks on Amazon. If they are, there's very few. And then I'm not going to be able to rank for generic brick keywords, and I'm definitely not going to rank for any Lego keywords, right? So knowing what you can potentially take advantage of and rank for and what keywords can drive sales for your product is the foundation. So we overestimated our ability. We didn't understand how to drive sales or how to rank the product, how to write and optimize the listing. And so we ended up with selling very few of those units. And it was just a breakthrough for us. I mean, luckily I didn't order as many there. I had like 3 different sets and a few hundred units. But now I'm much more confident. I know how to write the listing, how to do the keyword research, what I can realistically get sales from, and then how to estimate how many units I'm going to be able to sell in the first 60 to 90 days.
I think this is going to be a question, unless we can answer it very quickly, because I want to get into the questions. But one of the things that I get asked a lot about is what happens if you're bringing a unique product to Amazon? So you're bringing a Kickstarter campaign, some sort of crowdfunding campaign, and nobody knows the product, right? Like, what was the Squatty Potty, right? But well, I mean, there was so much money thrown at that. But if you have a not yet known niche, how would you go about getting it recognized on Amazon and ranking?
Okay. The most important lesson for everyone listening is that you cannot create demand on Amazon. All right. Amazon is its own ecosystem. It has its it has its buyers. They have their search terms. They have what they're looking for. If no one knows to look for what you're selling, they're not going to find it. Now, if you have a better widget that solves something better and it's cheaper and you can display that in the main image and you have an advantage, a key advantage, it has to be a huge advantage for them to click on something they're not recognizing, right? And there's a lot of keywords that you think you can rank for and actually get clicks and conversions on because it's an existing market that you're meeting, an avatar that's really already buying that niche, and there are search terms they're using that you fit in, then that's different. But for the most part, if no one's ever heard of it, they're not going to search for it. You're not going to sell it, no matter how many ads you run on Amazon. Now, that's why something like Squatty Potty or a Kickstarter exists. You can build up a list. You can drive them to Amazon later. You can try to get more publicity around it. You can go to retail and people can see it in the store and then go search for it. And then you start getting branded search. You can run direct to your own website traffic. So like a D2C play where you're driving to Shopify and you'll get some halo effect onto Amazon because people don't trust Shopify. So they'll go search on Amazon. So you can have a few units in FBA for that case, right? You don't want to lose that traffic. But for the most part, a brand new invention, I wouldn't touch, unfortunately. I just like to take something that I know people are searching for, work backwards from there, and do it better than the competition.
Very good. Fantastic. Okay, Kelsey, questions?
All right. So let me see.
I have a feeling there'll be at least one.
There is at least one, yeah. So first off, I asked the audience what their mistakes along their journey were.
Yeah.
Let me see. So not listening to my wife regarding product choice. That was one. For Manny, I'm still doing this mistake. I'm a one-woman show without any help. I know it's my biggest mistake. No one can bring same ACOS and white and black variations on the same parent. We forgot what the buyer wanted. So those are just a couple mistakes. So let us know what your biggest mistake and how you learned from it. But let's jump into some questions. From Andre, what are your thoughts about listing new ASINs in 2022 as character limits have been shrinking more and more, both for bullet points and title, making it harder for new products and sellers to rank?
Yeah, I think you just need to be a lot more efficient as to which keywords you're prioritizing. You have to be able to take that master keyword list and prioritize based on relevancy, based on search volume, based on what we call ranking juice. And you need to understand that visual content is the biggest driver for sales anyway. That second image is probably just as important as the main image, because if you can show those benefits to the buyer in that second image, a lot of times, and they're going to connect with it and purchase. Images drive sales more than written word. So the title, take advantage of it. That first bullet's really important. Usually the way people go is they look at the images, they'll look at A+ content, and then they'll get to the bullets on mobile. Sometimes on desktop, which is now the minority, on desktop, they'll read that first bullet and then make a decision. So that second image, you need to talk about the benefits. That first bullet, you need to talk about the benefits. Everywhere else, I get as many keywords as I can in there and make it readable. But you need to know which to prioritize.
Very good.
Okay, great. Let me see. Next question from Red. How about YouTube and influencers? Are they more relevant to bringing sales on Amazon?
I love influencers. I think, yeah, and I know that Tim talks about YouTube a lot and has some great strategies there. He's a beast when it comes to YouTube influencers and programs that you can do, some affiliate programs that you can do. I've heard some of his ideas there. Tim's the man there. I would say TikTok is going to be a huge play moving forward, but you really have to understand the ecosystem and the fulfillment there. I think it's going to be something that larger sellers can start to take advantage of, because you have to be able to manage the supply chain, and you have to understand what's going to sell, do some small tests, and then bring in enough units. Micro influencers, content-driven sales from out of Amazon are the future, I think. Amazon's still going to do great. You can still rank your product and make a lot of money within that ecosystem. But a lot of people are going to make a lot of money on TikTok, and there's an opportunity there. The key is understand what your capabilities are, stay focused on what you're doing, and if you have the ability and the time to shift your focus, or to put someone else in charge of it, or have your company running and bring that on as a new project, make sure that you understand what are all the leading measures, what are all the what are all of the resources you need to do that properly, while still not abandoning and neglecting your other business.
It is an art form.
It's hard.
And Brendan, I know it's your first time on the podcast, but we never, ever give Tim a compliment. Just want to put that out there.
Okay.
All
Just
right,
joking, Tim.
So our next question, it's in regards to scaling. So how do you cover the when? When is the right time to scale? Is it the number of products, the amount of revenue? Are there any goalposts that you need to cross first when you start growing your team?
Yeah, so the key is that you have to look at, when you look at that taxonomy of value, you have to understand what are the different things I can put the least amount of effort on that are going to drive the most reward, right? The business towards that objective, raise the valuation of the business the most with the least amount of effort. That's how you pick those levers, right? That's how you pick those objectives for the quarter. Now, if you're going to talk about, man, I don't feel good. COVID sucks.
Sorry, buddy.
No, it's okay. Now, if you're talking about when you're really early on, you have a few SKUs, you have to make a realistic goal as to how much time and effort it's going to take to achieve it. So you could just throw a number out there. Let's say you did $1 million last year, or $500,000 last year, and this year you want to do $2.5 million, right? 5x is a lot, but let's say you just put that number out there. Now work backwards, okay? From my existing SKUs, I know I'm going to get, I might have a product drop off. I might have another one get better as I optimize it, but I'm going to do roughly 500,000 like I did last year from those. I need to add $2 million in revenue. How am I going to add $2 million in revenue? Well, if I add an average of 8 SKUs, that do about $400,000, that's $2.5 million, $2.4 million. But let's say I do 7 SKUs that do about 300,000, right? And it'll be a running $2.5 million by Q4, right? It won't be actual for the year, but you do the running $2.5 million by the end of the year. Well, now I know I need to add 7 SKUs. Well, how do you add 7 SKUs? Well, half of the SKUs we launch, we keep. The other half we don't keep. We lose money on a very small percentage of those, but we abandon about 30% and we keep about 50%, right? So we know in order to launch 7 successful products by the end of the year and have those generating revenue for us, we need to launch 14 products. Well, how do you launch 14 products? Well, you need to order a lot of samples. What percentage of your samples that you order turn into orders? Well, maybe it's 20%. Maybe it's maybe it's half. So for easy numbers, let's say it's half. For 14 products, I need to order 28 samples of different products, probably from multiple factories too. But I need 28 different products of sample products that I want to get. Now, from that, how did I order those samples? Well, I needed to look at a lot of products. How many products do I need to look at and analyze and do a deep dive into, to place a sample order? Maybe it's 1 in 10. Okay. Well, now I know I need to look at 280 products to order 28 samples, and I need to analyze 280 products. 28 become samples, and 14 become orders. 7 become successful. By the end of the year, I'm there. Now, okay, what are the resources I need to start? What the leading activities? Looking at products and analyzing products. What are the leading activities? Who can do that? Who's wearing that hat? Am I wearing that hat? How long is it going to take me? Do I need any capital to do it? Do I need any other team members to do it? So now you're building resources. You're building leading activities. You're building what's required to achieve that goal, but you're moving in that direction. And so let's say you're moving that direction and you analyze, you realize you're going to front load all of the samples, you're going to front load most of it, and you're going to do all the product research for the next month so that you can launch, 14 products this year. And so you start, that's your leading activity, doing product research, right? So that's how you work backwards. That's how you scale your business.
Yeah, one of the other things that I would probably add is if you're planning on growing your company or going to a VA or hiring somebody, outsourcing, training is so bloody important. You can mess it up and you can go through 100 different VAs if you don't train properly. So, and I would make it to a point where your SOPs are, you can hand it to a 99-year-old aunt and she would be able to go through it and understand it. And same thing with, you have the SOP, you have the templates, you have the training. It takes time. And this is one of the reasons why we say, like, just take that one and just do one SOP a month if that's all you can do, but train that person properly, because if you don't, they're just not going to do it right. And you're going to have to take the task back and probably fire the person because they're not doing it right because you didn't train properly. So training is really important from our end.
Yeah, management's hard. Growing the team and management is hard. What's good is that once you actually set those leading activities, you assign a KPI to every seat. Everyone has to own every seat owns a KPI, and every KPI can only be owned by one person. Now, a lot of team members can contribute to the success of that, but someone needs to own it, right?
Right.
So once you start to fill out an org chart and you understand that someone is on top of something and everyone has their leading activities, and you check in on a regular basis to see, is that lagging metric moving in the right direction? Are the leading activities being done? Check mark. And is that on pace to actually achieve what we want to achieve? Or do we need to adjust, right? And then you just adjust and improvise and iterate. So, but it should get you moving in the right direction, and it should get the whole organization moving in the right direction as you scale it.
So Kelsey, let's take one more question. Like, Brandon's feeling awful right now. So let's just get, I know there's a ton of other questions, but let's just get one more.
All right. And just a reminder, because, we can't get to every single question, we do have our Facebook group, the Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and eCommerce Collective. Go over there, ask your questions there. We have a ton of experts in that group. Our guests from the show, a lot of them are in that group. So
who knows?
check it
Maybe
out.
Brandon will even pop in one day.
I think I'm in the group.
I think so too. So this is from Simon. Once you have a real company with 30 or 40 staff, real is in quotations, how do you hold on to your personal why?
Yeah, that's up to you, man. So I think this is a great question to end on, because I think it's super important. A lot of people get caught up in chasing the money, and they lose track of what's really important, which is their happiness, right? We talk about scaling to 8 figures, 9 figures. That's not going to make a lot of people happy. Some people hate it. Some people hate managing. Some people hate hiring. Some people hate scaling and growing their business beyond what they are. And that's perfectly fine. If you want to have a lifestyle business with 1 or 2 or 5 SKUs that you can manage on your own and wear all those hats because you hate hiring people and you hate dealing with people, or you're not good at it and it makes you uncomfortable and it makes you unhappy, and you want more freedom, then I would say that's perfectly okay. Don't let someone tell you have to become a 7 or an 8 figure seller, right? Now, our goal, right, with our toy brand is to really scale it heavily over the next couple of years and be at like a $50 million run rate in the next 18 months. That makes me happy. I love the process of building new products and product development and learning and marketing and those things. Like, I don't feel like I work any day, but I put in more hours than just about anyone I know, right? So I think that my wife and I are aligned because we have the same passion and we enjoy it. But every once in a while, you need to disconnect too and go there. But let your happiness be your and don't confuse that with uncomfortableness. Push yourself to improve. Just because you're not good at something doesn't mean you shouldn't learn how to do it and become better at it. If your goal truly is to become a millionaire and financially free, and you're just stuck because you don't have the right mentor or the right systems or the right help, get help. Skip the learning curve. Hire someone. Take a course. Like, buy the right software. Like, there's different things you can do. You're surrounded by, you're on this podcast, so you know that you're in. I know you're plugged into the ecosystem, and you know who's out there and who's available to help you. So let happiness determine what your next step is, right? You could sell that business as a solopreneur for a couple $1 million, put a little money in the bank, put a little money aside, do it again, this time maybe with some help, hire someone, right? And then and travel more, live wherever you want and do this business. But, or drive to 8 and 9 figures, build a real brand that you're going to sell for a ton of money, whatever makes you happy, guys. Like that's
Exactly. Okay, I think that's about it. Brandon, you've probably never seen The Wheel of Kelsey.
The Wheel of Kelsey.
Yes.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. The Wheel of Kelsey.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Sure, that was great for your migraine. Sorry, Brandon. But here we go. We got a ton of entries, so thank you everyone who entered. Now we're giving away 5 of these, so if you don't see your name the first time, don't worry, you got 4 other chances. So I'm just going to rifle through these, and you have 48 hours to reply and reach out to us. That is k@lunchwithnorm.com.
Who got the first one?
Ian it.
All right. Congrats.
Right. We'll do that again. All right. And our second ones, we have Jeffrey P.
All right, Jeffrey. That was close.
Right on the edge.
All right. Next one. And also a reminder, YouTubers especially, I have no way of reaching out to you, so make sure you reach out to me. It makes our job a lot easier.
Oh,
Next
Marina.
one is Marina. Congratulations. All right, 2 more to go, and then we'll wrap it up.
It just keeps going.
It just keeps going. All right, Anna.
Fantastic.
Anna P.
And our last
and final one for the masterclass of Amazon PPC.
Oh, of course. When does he not win?
Tony.
When does he not win?
He is a winner for sure. Tony, congratulations. Congratulations to all of our winners. So that is k@lunchwithnorm.com. Please reach out to me. You guys have 48 hours, and then we'll spin again if we don't hear from you. So
And then Brandon,
congratulations, everyone.
We'll get you over the information. And next time you come on, hopefully you're feeling better. And hopefully you have a Lunch with Norm mug, and we can share coffee together. There we go.
I would love that.
All right. Brandon, thank you so much. I wasn't expecting, we were actually going to be looking for somebody to come on, but I'm just glad you pulled through. It was fantastic. Really appreciate you coming on today.
It's always good to see you, man. And I'm going to go get into bed.
All right. You get into bed. Take care. And thank you. Okay, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it. There's just been a ton of engagement in the comments section. Next episode on Friday, we've got my old buddy. Actually, Brendan and I always meet up at BDSS, Billion Dollar Sellers Summit, but Kevin's going to be on again for Kevin King for his monthly shop talk. And we're just going to go over some new things that are happening, good, bad, and ugly on Amazon right now. So that's Friday. And I think that'll be fantastic. We always have really great engagement during that episode. Kelsey, I think we have one more word from our sponsor and then get back here. Thank you, Z.co, for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Are you looking to take your e-commerce business from local to global? You can with the help of Z and their brand new app. That's right. You can track live shipments with push notifications, get detailed lead times for each stage of your shipment, and store all compliance and VAT reclaim documents in the palm of your hand, all while listening to Lunch with Norm. Ready to expand your e-com empire and take your Amazon FBA business global? Use the link in the description to learn more about Z's new app that's now available on desktop and mobile. That's z.co, zee.co. All right, Boy Wonder, where are you?
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed. I see some people were asking about where to find Brandon's course if you are not the winner. So it is sellersystems.com. Just remember you have the hyphen in there, and you'll be able to find all of his different courses he has. And for the winners, so again, congratulations to Ionit, Jeffrey, Marina, Anna, and Tony. Please reach out to me, k@lunchwithnorm.com. And for those that are joining us that have never seen the podcast, we do this every single episode. We have our little Wheel of Kelsey that we do. So come back. Kevin King's episode is always great. That's 12 p.m. Eastern time. And we go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So yeah, we hope to see you back. We saw a lot of new people today. That's great to see. So head on over to our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon, FBA,
Kelsey.
e-commerce collective.
Kelsey,
Yes.
just hold it. Are you wearing a virtual mask or something? Oh, you had something up over top of your mouth. So yeah, something like that. And it looked like a virtual mask. So you don't have to worry. You're not going to give me COVID or anything. Well, maybe you are, but
yeah,
not digitally.
All right. Well, thank you. You're
Just
putting me
wondering.
at ease.
Just wondering.
But yeah, that's about it. Also, don't forget to give us those likes, smash those buttons. We'd really appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up. Also, if you have recommendations for guests that you want to see on, maybe someone you've never seen on before, let us know. We're always looking for new guests and to see what you guys are interested in. So thank you again to everyone. Today was a great episode. Yes, Zorro. But yeah, it's looking forward to our next episode.
All right. Very good. So if Brandon's coming back, I know he is. We're going to ask him. I know it's tough, but if you want Brandon to talk to about something specifically, let us know, and we'll see if we can get him back on the show real soon. Okay. So join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Look, we had great turnout today. Thank you so much for being part of the community. We really couldn't do this without you. Have a great day, and hopefully you're back here on Friday and you'll enjoy the show with Kevin King.
Lunch with Norm.